Hi folks, I've been trying to come up with a less expensive sharpening method. Sharpening's recently went up in price almost 20%, and it's really going beyond the reach of a lot of folks. Anyway, it's a great system. I still use it. I still think it's the best if you're willing to spend the money. However, here's something we've got that's going to cost you a whole lot less, and it'll still give you a really good edge. Using a Norton, I don't know if you can see this or not, but a Norton combination stone, 1,000 grit on one side, 8,000 on the other. Kind of getting worn off, but that's what the yellow is, the 8,000. Problem with this stone is how do you keep it flat? I've been using a granite reference block and a piece of wet dry paper, but you can only do that maybe 3 times and then the grit's all worn off the paper. I recently started carrying these trend diamond plates, and the primary reason is that they are flat to within a half a thou, and their competitors aren't, and that's why I never bothered with them. You get 300 grit on one side, 1,000 grit on the other, which solves a couple of problems, but let me show you what it does as far as your sharpening goes first. What I did is I took a piece of plywood and I cut a spot out of it that's the size of the plate. The plate is 5/16 of an inch thick, so this plywood, which today comes a little less than 1/4 of an inch, works well. Just drop that in there. Now, to flatten this stone, simply wet the 2 pieces. These you got to keep wet. And rub it on the 300 grit. It only takes a few seconds, and you can tell it's flat when there's no black marks left. And you can see a little bit right there where I'd use that doing the ruler trick. Well, I'm not going to wear down all of this to get rid of that. That'll come in time. I'll avoid it for now. On this side, which is the 8,000 grit, it's a little stickier, but again, it only takes a few seconds. You can see there's a black spot in the middle. Now, I still need to get rid of that. I don't want to use that, especially with it being right in the middle. So let me spend another few seconds. Okay. That's a little bit of damage where I stuck the tool into the stone. I'm not going to bother getting rid of that because I'd waste too much. But now it's done. And I use this exact same way that I would use the Nortons, or pardon me, the Sharpenings. I'll start with the 1,000 grit, set the blade down on the primary bevel, raise up just a few degrees, about 10 seconds worth of work. As soon as you detect a burr on the back side, verifying corner to corner, flip it over. Keep that wet. Now I put a little bit of dish soap in the water just to make it a little slipperier, makes it a little less sticky. Find the primary bevel, raise up a few degrees higher than I did on the last surface. After 10 seconds, downward pressure on one corner for 3 seconds, switch to the opposite corner for 3 seconds. Take your little thin ruler on the edge of the stone, using the Charlesworth ruler trick. Stay within 1/4 of an inch of the opposite edge. Spend your 3 seconds getting rid of the burr. That's providing you've already put a back bevel on there. Grab me a piece of paper towel, please, Jake. And that's all there is to it. Now, the nice thing about this diamond plate is it solves the problem that I mentioned on a previous video when folks are doing their chisel backs. And water stones, even ceramic stones, wear quickly. So if you're trying to do a back that's out of flat, trying to get the initial prep work done, you're going to have to go in and reflatten that back of that stone numerous times. What normally happens is people go too far, they end up working in a dish surface, and then they lose their flat back. What I do with this is just use, if it's a really bad stone, a really bad chisel, you're going to start with the 300 grit. If not, start with the 1,000. Nice thing is, it's not going to go flat. It's not going to go out of flat. So you can go and do the heavy work on the 1,000 and then move on to your Nortons. Now, if you're going to do chisels, then you're going to want to pick up a Norton 4,000 as well, because trying to jump from 1,000 to 8,000 is too great on the back of a chisel. It's okay on a plain blade where we're only doing such a small area, but initial preparation on the chisel back, you're going to have to go 1,000, 4,000, then finish on the 8,000. But it'll save you a lot of grief. It's not that expensive. So if that's what you're looking for, an inexpensive sharpening system that will give you good results, this is what I'd recommend. See you soon.